Hi everyone, Sarah Pacaro. In this video today, we are continuing talking about the archetypes of the emotionally traumatized, neglected, and abused. Through my years of working both one-to-one with people and through my transformational program, my signature program, Transforming Past Pain to Present Power, I've worked with people who've come from these types of backgrounds and experiences, emotionally traumatic, emotionally abusive, and emotionally neglectful. And through all of the people that I've worked with to help them transform and live completely different lives very rapidly, I've identified 5 different archetypes of the emotionally traumatized, abused, and neglected. So this video today is going to get into the archetype of what I call the F me. So we're just going to go over the F me today. There are videos on all of the other archetypes outside of this, but for the sake of keeping this video at a good length, we're not going to get into anything but the F me today. So if you are here because you're tired of living like a fraud and tired of feeling like a fake, and you identify with the other archetypes, perhaps you stuff and bottle your feelings and you feel afraid to let them out. You're tired of gaslighting yourself. You're tired of living this perfectionist life or this life where you just procrastinate and put everything off. Like I said, all the other archetypes are described in other videos, but today we're going to get into living a fake life and a fraud life and how that archetype relates to past emotional abuse, trauma, and neglect. So we're going to get into the archetype, and all an archetype is, by definition, is a set pattern of behaviors. So essentially a coping mechanism that you unconsciously created because of those past traumatic, abuseful, and neglectful experiences that you've created unconsciously, and now you're stuck in, and you're ready to release yourself. You're ready to release the beliefs, the patterns, the energies, and the emotions that are keeping you stuck in living this fake and fraud life. They're keeping you trapped in this. So, like I said, over the years of working with people, I've seen many, many people identify with this. I feel like I'm a fake. I feel like I'm a fraud. I feel like I can't be my real, true, genuine, authentic self. And I feel disconnected from that. I don't like this feeling. I want to be my real self. I want to be the real me. And I don't want to be afraid of what other people think of the real me. I just want to live free. I want to be me, unafraid and unapologetically. So if you identify with the F me archetype, we're going to go into the different patterns and habits and behaviors that they have, and you're ready to break free from that. I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to see you inside of our program or see if we're a good fit to work together one-to-one personally. Because more than likely, you're going to resonate with lots of the things that we talk about today in the F me, fake me archetype. And you begin to realize at maybe different parts of your lives or at different points in your lives, this is holding you back from getting what you truly want. And usually that's in the form of really healthy, connecting, loving relationships, because we're all hardwired and programmed to want and need love and true, genuine connection. And when you're living a fake life, you can't get that because no one can love who you're pretending to be. And if you're pretending to be someone you're not, no one can love the real you because they don't know the real you, because you're presenting this fake you so that they will like you. And therefore, there's this disconnect, there's this space or this gap. And in that space and gap, there's sadness, there's just fear of, well, I want to be the real me and I think I'm ready to let that person out, but what if they leave me? So I guess I need to keep up this fake, this front, this facade. Otherwise, they will leave me, and I don't want that, right? I don't want to be left alone because there's this fear of being alone as well. So as we get into this archetype, you're going to identify with a lot of the things we talk about today. If you feel like you're a fake, if you feel like you're a fraud, but if you feel like, no, you've got this perception that you've got it all together, things are well, things are great, and you're just going through life just pretending everything is a-okay, nothing to see here, but you find that you do have a difficult time truly connecting and engaging with friends, with family, with loved ones. You have a fear of getting too close to people because if they find out who the real you is, that they will leave you, they won't like you, and you'll be left alone. So you have trouble deeply connecting with others. You never truly and really feel safe in your relationships, in the relationship with yourself. You don't really know who you are. You don't know where to start or how to start feeling better inside, but you know you need to do something because you're tired of living this front and this fake life, because it's leading you now to having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, feeling that deep hole and sense of sadness within, feelings of depression, low self-worth, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, and now you're trying to outwardly, overly compensate for that. Even though you say, no, that's not it, there's something deep inside of you that says, yeah, maybe. So you find that you easily withdraw, you have difficult or you have difficulty or inability to make and maintain friendships or healthy relationships where you're really seen and heard for who you really are. You have distrust of other people because you think, well, if they like who I'm pretending to be, what would they think about the real me? Is that real? Is that true? Is that genuine? Is that authentic? So you question a lot of it, which leads to the gaslighter archetype. And that may lead to persistent fear, shame, guilt, self-harming behavior, self-hatred, self-blame, hypervigilance, eating disorders, exercise disorders, alcohol and substance abuse, you name it. It leads to you having a difficult time or trouble sleeping, being uncomfortable with physical contact with others, with closeness with others. It leaves you feeling stuck, feeling afraid that you'll never have what you want. Usually, a healthy relationship, a loving relationship, just being seen and loved and appreciated and respected for who you are. You feel unable to maintain healthy boundaries. Or knowing how to stand up for yourself or how to get out of toxic situations or unhealthy relationships. Perhaps you just feel like the shell of yourself. You feel disconnected from yourself. Your inner dialogue is one that's so persistent in shame, fear, and guilt and leads you to severe emotional chaos internally and oftentimes physical pain or just feeling like sick and stuck in bed. Your hormones, your digestive system is completely out of whack, screwed up and all over the place. And all you really want is to heal your heart, trust your mind, be able to breathe, laugh, feel joy and happiness, peace, and feel alive again. You just want to feel grounded, unbound, unchained. You want to be able to dream again and look forward to healthy relationships, look forward to setting goals, look forward to doing things with someone you really, truly can trust, connect with, and be yourself with. You want to love yourself and look forward to your future and truly have a future filled with hope and happiness and find that courage and hold on to it instead of holding on to who do I have to be so that I can perceive to have that. You just want to have it. You want to get out of that survival and deprivation mode and go into a thriving mode with the real you in that place, not this fake you, not this front that you put up. You want to deeply connect with yourself on an energetic, emotional, spiritual, mental level. You want to have the ability to make decisions without feeling nauseated. And what are they going to think of me if I say that or if I do that? And not be envious and jealous of other people who seem to not have these problems. You want to really live a purposeful and meaningful life and feel comfortable and connected and truly at peace and at home in your body. You want to love your body and you want your body to love you back. You want to feel safe in your body. You want to have self-compassion, self-forgiveness, grace for yourself. You truly want to, at the most core, deep, and rudest at the most deeply rooted level, feel that you're worthy and feel that you're loved for who you are, not who you're pretending to be, who you should be, or who you ought to be. You want to get rid of that story of shoulda, coulda, wouldas, ought tos, must haves that always seems to be running in your mind, especially when it comes to your relationship with other people. You just want to, maybe you're so low and all of that sounds great, but you're so far past that. You're so low. You just want to feel normal again. You just want to be a functioning human again. Ultimately, you want to live a happy, energetic, thriving life with clarity of thought and full embrace with who you are. So, if you are the F me archetype, we're going to get into that, what it means and what to do to break free from it. So you're someone who's lived through an emotionally abusive, traumatic, and neglectful past, and now you're living this fake life because you tell yourself, I'm over it. That was in the past. I've let it go. I've forgiven them. I've forgiven myself. I've moved on. But now you feel so disconnected from yourself and so lost within yourself and your life and your meaning and your purpose and why you're here and what to do with yourself. And you're just tired of living that because you feel like you're living that F me life. You're living a fake life or a fraud life. And you are someone who says and truly wants to believe, oh, it's all good. It's all in the past. It's whatever. I've moved on. I've gotten over it. But you don't really feel like you have. You can still feel that energetic, spiritual, mental, and emotional connection to those abusive, neglectful, and traumatic things in your past. But you have this attitude that's like, no, everything's okay. Like nothing to see here. It's all good. Right? It is, I mean, I went through stuff in the past, but honestly, it is what it is. And you settle with that, and you're tired of settling with that, and you're tired of saying to yourself, well, if it's meant to be, it'll be, and just hoping that you're going to get what you want, what you deserve, what you desire, and you have this deep belief that if this is what's meant to be, then you're just going to have to settle with settling in misery. And there's something inside of you that's not okay with that. And so you keep propelling, you keep moving, you keep going forward, but you go forward with this, who do I have to be to get that? Because it's someone other than who I am. So whoever I need to be to get that, I will do that. So you go about doing all these things that aren't the real you because you believe the real you doesn't deserve that. And it's just going to be stuck and settled back there in misery. And you in no way, shape, or form are okay with settling that with that. So you continue on morphing and molding yourself into whoever you need to become so you can get what you want. And in that, you feel like you're a fraud. You feel like you're a fake. The F me believes deep down that they're deserving of the pain. And I know you might not want to hear this if you identify with the F me archetype, but that's what's happening internally and unconsciously. There is a deeply rooted belief and a core belief that you are deserving of this pain and shame. And that goes from way, way, way far back. But you don't want to feel that pain and that shame. And you really would say, I don't believe I deserve that. That's actually, Sarah, that's not true. So you put a smile on your face and you pretend that you don't feel that pain and that shame, but you do, and you know that you do. So when you think about admitting that you're falling apart and that your life is in shambles, your life is completely chaotic and it's a mess, you feel intense shame. You feel deeply rooted disappointment and embarrassment. That's what the F me feels a lot. A ton of disappointment, a ton of embarrassment at the feeling that they seem to have it all together, yet they're barely holding it all together. After all this time, they should have it together. And everyone else thinks that they do have it together and they're doing well and they're successful and like others are envious and jealous of them, but they're barely holding on by a thread and they wouldn't dare let anyone else know because everyone else thinks that they're doing so well because that's a perception and image that they get of. And everyone thinks that they're so happy and that they've made it and that they've got it all and they've got everything that they could ever want and their life is literally perfect. It couldn't get any better. But inside, they feel deep disappointment, embarrassment, and shame. But they feel like they've got to keep that front and that mask up. They cannot let it slip because what would people think of them? So they're very concerned with what other people think of them and keep that F me, that fake, that front, that fraud up so that other people think they will what they want of them, that they've got it all together and they don't ever have to admit that they're truly falling apart. So the F me will constantly say yes to taking on more, doing new things, taking on new projects and helping others out, even when their plate is already full and they're spread way too thin because they're barely holding on by a thread and they don't want anyone else to know. And they're afraid to admit that or say that or step up and reach out for help or support because they seem to have it all together. They sacrifice their personal time, their personal health, they sacrifice their family time, and they sacrifice themselves and hide behind this mask of, I'm fine, I've got this, it's not a big deal. And they use false motivation to try and get through. And because they do this, they they almost like chop up their lives. They cut into their sleep time. They cut into their self-care time and they allow themselves to be the first one to go. So they're not going to let anything else go. And they sacrifice themselves. It's a form of self-sacrifice. But the F me will pretend that they can do all the things and they've got it all. They don't say, you know what, I'm not doing okay. I need to step back. I can't take that on. I need to really spend some time with myself to say yes to all these things that they really just don't have the time, energy, or motivation or desire for because they pretend like they don't mind helping others out at all and it's not a big deal and no problem. And internally, the F me harbors a lot of deep resentment and anger towards those that they're with, towards those that they help, towards those that ask them for help. So they're really, really holding on to a lot of deep anger, resentment, frustration, disappointment, but they rarely express it. They rarely show it. They rarely will tell others no or that they can't do more. because they want to seem like they can do it all. And then so instead they'll say, absolutely, yeah, sure, that's not a problem. That sounds amazing. Yeah, just let me know. So they pretend to be happy about doing things and helping others out and just, oh, it's all good. It's my pleasure. And they're already spread way too thin, but they're just taking pieces of themselves to go do that and then just slapping a smile on and pretending that that brings them joy and pleasure. And really there's barely anything left of them, but they're faking it and they're not letting anyone else know that. And they feel like such a fake and such a fraud because they're afraid to tell others how they're really feeling and that they're falling apart and that they don't know who they are on the inside because there's this really strong perception and image that they do know who they are, that they're strongly grounded and rooted in who they are as they live these behind the scenes life. So the faker secretly hates other people and those that can reach out and say, hold on, I need a break. I can't do that. They secretly hate people that they support and they almost wish them away so they wouldn't have to deal with them or they could get a break and just breathe for once, but they would never say that. They would never admit that. So they just wish that they could give other people a piece of their mind or punch them in the face or tell them how they really feel, but they wouldn't dare because that would expose them and that would cause other people to talk badly about them. And they are not someone that they are going to give any other people reason to talk badly about them because that would taint and dent their image. And they're all about the image. And so they just keep smiling, they keep faking it, they keep living this fake fraud pretend life. And just tell yourself, well, you just fake it till you make it, right? Hoping that someday they will make it and they won't have to fake it anymore. But they really wonder and question if that works that way or if that day will ever come. So the F me oftentimes feels anger in their chest and in their throat. It oftentimes feels like a clogged, a twisted, a tightening, burning sensation. I've had past clients who identified with the F me saying it feels like a fire inside, like a raging storm inside of them, but they're not going to let it out. No way, because that would ruin their image. They would land them in the loony bin like Britney Spears when she shaved her head, right? So they feel tiredness, they feel heaviness, they just feel this tension behind their eyes and this inner rage in that fake smile that's plastered onto their face. But they would never be the one to wear that resting bee face, right? So it feels like they're always on the verge, like 1 second away from that deadly eye roll, but they wouldn't ever let others see it. They wouldn't dare. So they just smile. So the faker is someone who I say lives an Instagram life, lives a social media life. They look perfectly put together, poised on the outside, and they're completely in shambles on the inside. Like they're falling apart at the seams, like they're being held together by pieces of duct tape. But they would never, ever, ever let you know it. They look incredible. They look healthy. They look strong. They look fit. They look like the life that other people are jealous of having on the outside, but inside they are torn apart at the seams, ripped apart, barely being held together. Like the stuffing is like coming out of the sides everywhere. And they often feel like, you know what, I just want to leave. I just want to go home. I just want to be left alone. But they're seen out there going with the flow and seem to be having a good time while secretly wishing that they could just go away or that everyone else would just go away. But they thrive on that. They need that. They desire that. And that's part of the front that they put up. But they present this very calm, this very cool, this very well put together, very collected side, when in reality, they're an anxious train wreck. And they go out, and when they're out with others, they're performing, they're constantly keeping up their image and belief around who other people think they should be. And they would never, ever, ever dare let people know what's really going on and that they're completely losing it inside. So these are the patterns, the archetypes of the F me. And if you identify with living this fake fraud life, there is a deep connection to what's happening internally and unconsciously because of traumatic, neglectful, and abusive experiences from your past. So I invite you into our program. We go through healing all 5 of the archetypes of those of people who've gone through those types of experiences. I also invite you, if you're more interested, to work one-to-one with me, to book a call to see if we're good fit to do so. Otherwise, if you're the F me and you're tired of living that kind of life and you're ready to live an aligned, true, genuine, authentic life, then I would love to see you inside of our program. There's more information in the description below this video for the program and to connect with me one-to-one if that's what you're looking for. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this description and video of the F me, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. All right, guys, bye for now.